In a world of fake news, this is news you can trust. 100% organic, cruelty-free news. You're listening to The Babylon Bee with your hosts, Kyle Mann and Ethan Nicole.
Welcome to the Babylon Bee podcast, broadcasting live, but not actually live, from Ancapistan.
Barely alive.
Yeah. And that voice, that anarchist-sounding voice that you hear...
There's such manic anarchism in that voice.
Is Michael Malice.
Chuckling with such rebelliousness.
Are you all right?
I'm better than all right.
He's our first guest host on our new format where we have a weekly news show.
Yeah.
Which we are wholly unqualified to be doing. Yeah. He's way more qualified, so it's great to have him on.
Well, you know, it's better than getting the news from the corporate
probably
press.
Still not very qualified, right? But who really is?
So what's more reliable, Michael, the Babylon Bee or the corporate press?
The corporate press is very reliable for what they're trying to do. They never get off message.
Same thing, right? Every time.
They never skip a beat. They always double down.
That's true.
This is what I think. I harp on this on Twitter all the time. This is what I think some conservatives, but decreasingly, thankfully, and leftists, decreasingly, thankfully, don't understand. They're not making mistakes over and over. Yeah. I mean, these aren't stupid people. They're educated. They're intelligent. If you keep doing the same thing, despite being given evidence to the contrary, at a certain point, this isn't a mistake. This is your agenda.
Mm. Yeah, there's one thing I've noticed every time on Twitter. Someone will say this is an error, or whatever, and you are the master troll, and you'll reply with, this is exactly what you meant to do. So.
Yeah, and why are you running interference for people who would want you dead, at the very least?
I think we're going to need to call the police on you, Michael.
You want to start with the cops? You are talking to anarchists.
Oh, man. We'll get to that.
So this is we don't have this as one of our news stories, but Kobe Bryant crashed in a helicopter around here.
Shocker.
Yesterday.
This week, just out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. And
I guess death is always out of nowhere, but...
Not always.
Not always.
Yeah.
The most inevitable thing, and yet shocks us every time, right? Mm-hmm. So how did the corporate press respond when to this Kobe Bryant thing?
Well, I have this master thread on Twitter, which I kind of... The thing that's happening now, and you guys are really, really great with this, with the work you do, is instead of... It used to be, corporate America would be like, oh, you're racist. And then you're spending 6 months saying, no, I'm not. And now it's like, oh, let's focus on the techniques you guys use and make those techniques ineffectual rather than reacting to some nonsensical accusation you're going to throw out. Here's an example. Kamala Harris, senator from California, she ran for president. Mm-hmm. And when and I know we have a lot of Christian listeners, and I apologize in advance, and you forgive me in advance, when I kept referring to her as a pig and Officer Harris, and when she dropped out, we did a ham tasting on my live stream. They shipped in $400, the fans, and I bought all the expensive hams in honor of the pig,
master troll.
In honor of the pig being roasted by the Hawaiian. They couldn't, but the thing is, they couldn't decide whether people making fun of Kamala Harris were doing it because they were racist or because they were sexist, right? So they have their little techniques.
Doing all this math.
Right. And they're just going to apply it regardless of the input. And I think now this is a long circuitous way of getting to it. I have a master thread where what they do is when they present a person or entity who the audience is supposed to feel anathema toward or is a bad person, they will write it as Joe Rogan, who has a history of making racist jokes, today endorsed Bernie Sanders. Mm-hmm. Like that, it's in the first sentence, and that I did hashtag as an aside. You could hit that hashtag. And it's once you notice it, it is so incongruous because if you ask someone who's objective or even left of center, Who's Joe Rogan? Popular podcast host, comedian, MMA guy. You don't say the most cogent thing about him is that he's been known for making racist jokes, which isn't even accurate. That's an analysis. But the fact that they put it front and center, they are telling their readers who have been trained since they were kids in public schools to look at these people as authorities and arbiters of truth, that this is the most important thing about this person, is that he is known for telling racist jokes. That's not even if he had, that still wouldn't be the most important thing about him. They did this when Don Imus died recently, and with Kobe, they couldn't get fast enough. And I'm not even familiar with this case don't forget he had a rape accusation. My understanding is he was completely exonerated. But don't forget, it's like, okay, his wife loves him. His kids love him. I think that might be a little bit, his basketball career might be that little asterisk that might be of value here.
Like the one day you could like not bring it up, be the day he died.
But this is what I was saying, why it's an agenda. Regardless of the input, the output's the same. And this is very, very, very healthy. When those cadets were playing the circle game and all the headlines were, these cadets seem to be engaging in white nationalist symbols. My buddy Cernovich had this tweet. He goes, it's a good thing that they are trying, in one sense, to destroy these kids' lives so that people realize just how evil the press is. Because we know what the circle game is. If you didn't, it's their job to tell you what the circle game is and be like, look, you might think it's this okay symbol that, the alt-right has created, but in reality, it's this game that people play. It was on Malcolm in the Middle,
Oh, you mean like the little hand thing?
Yeah.
The circle thing.
The circle game.
I don't know, for the circle game.
And get someone to look at it like this.
Look at it down there.
And then you can punch them.
It's like
I got you.
It's
always an excuse to punch each other.
Right. But they're presenting it as these, I don't remember what academy they're from, were Klansmen. And they had no shame and no remorse in doing this. And when you are at a point where you are blithely in headlines suggesting that a young man or woman is a Klansman, you are depraved.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I was talking earlier, why I love talking to you guys. Christians understand better than anyone that evil exists in the world and that evil's not walking around with horns. Evil is seductive. It is, melodic voice. It's going to be the person next door. It's not going to be some 10-foot tall demon.
It's wearing a suit.
Yeah.
And tie.
You got the scar on his eye.
An eye patch.
You mean Dan Crenshaw? he's pretty weak.
Those red flag laws,
Yeah.
Well, we've pretty much dove in, but should we dive into our stories of the week?
Yeah, let's get started.
Every week, there are stories. These are some of them.
Story number 1. Democrats warn that American people may tamper with next election. It's a very scary proposition.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
This is one of your headlines?
Yeah.
Okay, I got scared.
You're like, what? Who wrote this? You were already firing off your angry tweet on Twitter,
So, apparently Jerry Nadler said we can't trust an election to get rid of President Trump. Does that mean we can't trust an election?
He said that?
That's what we got here. This is what our new researcher found for us.
Wow.
And
is that a direct quote? Direct quote.
This was inspired by Adam Schiff's comments in the Senate trial when he said, the president's negligence cannot be assessed at the ballot box because we cannot guarantee that vote will be fairly won.
So Buck Sexton, who I'm sure you guys are fans of, he's a good conservative commentator. He was on my show, You're Welcome, a couple weeks ago. And it's very often that someone drops something that makes me even do a double take. He suggested, and I don't see a reason why this couldn't happen, that if Trump wins re-election, the House would refuse to certify the results of the election. And you can even hear the reasons right now. We got to make sure it was fair, blah, 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 Russia, interference. I mean, they say that Trump is an unprecedented attack on our institutions. And then for 3 years, it's been unprecedented. Electoral college, all this other stuff. It's like, it's just amazing.
Yeah, coming from a small town, every time I hear somebody act like it's so obvious that we shouldn't have the electrical college. I said it.
You said it earlier.
I said it earlier. It's coming out that way. Electoral college sounds smart. I go, so like just the big city should all decide who gets to be president. And then I moved to a big city and realized how people in big cities are idiots.
Yes, they're marginally intelligent.
No offense.
They're midwits. Yeah.
I mean, that's the funny thing, because I lived in a small town. I remember this guy standing behind me in line. He's from the big city, talking to this guy. He's like, man, people in small towns, they're so kind of closed off and in a bubble. But the real groupthink is in big cities. I mean, people just you don't interact with anybody who doesn't think exactly like you.
Well, I mean, because there's a very big social stigma to coming out. Because now you're them and not us.
And the internet spread that out.
Yes, very much so. Big time. And I think they have to be doubling down, because I think the Trump election was a kind of a psychological trauma for them in many ways. Because now they realize that the people who they talk to in the office or, in their apartment building, some of them aren't like us. And now it's scary because you don't know who's us and who's them anymore.
Right.
So you really got to have this anguish signaling to show each other how upset you are.
Like that anguish signaling.
Yeah, that's a thing, though.
Yeah, totally is. Yeah, I've had that. I was just realizing the other day, I found more friends of mine from comics who have deleted me on Twitter.
Wow.
We were always cool. We never said no bad things. I didn't even post that much political stuff, but
I think
apparently I'm not part of the club now.
Well, you guys are also a big threat to their hegemony. So it's a situation.
What do you think, Kyle?
Maybe they just didn't like Axe Cop.
Yeah, that's possible. Today, actually, I forgot. Today is the 10-year anniversary of the day that Axe Cop website went up.
Oh, Mazel tov. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So that was it. 10 years ago today.
He was one day away from retirement.
And then it went bonkers. Yeah.
I wouldn't think anarchists would be a big fan of Axe Cop. Actually, you wouldn't like Axe Cop. Axe Cop declared himself to be president of the world.
I would like Emperor Norton.
He was made president of the world. He was drafted.
Kyle,
he didn't want to do it.
Plot line wrong.
He eventually quit the job and became president of just karate.
Well, anarchists could get behind that.
Yeah.
President of karate?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a voluntary.
That's kind of a private president.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're okay with private presidents.
Yeah.
Really derailed that topic.
Do you guys know about Emperor Norton the First? Oh, okay. So Emperor Norton was a guy from San Francisco in the 1800s and declared himself Emperor of the U.S. And he handed out currency, and he was like a figure when San Francisco was up and coming and becoming weird. Yeah. So this was a thing.
That's awesome.
Well, what's the difference between the president who just says, I'm the president?
But that's how you want.
Well, the real presidents kill a lot of people.
Yeah. So the emperor was a better guy.
He was a better guy, yeah.
Cool.
I am a fan. Can you still get currency with Emperor Norton's face on it?
I think it's a very expensive. I looked on eBay for it. Yeah.
So his money even retains value better than
the U.S. dollars. That's dollar. True. Wow, that's actually
great.
That's actually a great. Yeah, but yet another argument for private currency. That's actually a great. Wow, how did I not think of that?
What do you call them? Like
that one was free.
Nordy bucks or what were they called?
Norton bucks. All right, story number 2.
Mm-hmm. Sure. In major deal, the Babylon Bee purchases competing satire site CNN. Owned.
So we need more guest hosts to laugh at our jokes.
Yeah. It's nice when someone else laughs at our jokes, not us.
Why would you want to? That's like going to an oncologist and saying, I want to buy cancer. Yeah, this is true. Can you put cancer in me? I don't have enough cancer in my body.
They write great satire of the corporate press.
Oh, it is. I mean, everyone I know who is right of center infinitely prefers MSNBC to CNN. And has no problem with like a lefty network spewing lefty
Yeah, it's just because they're honestly lefty.
Because they're honest. Like, okay, that's your point of view. That's cool. But now, I don't know if you guys saw this. They've turned on Bernie. And watching all these lefties get red-pilled, red-pilled meaning realizing that what the media presents as truth is in fact a carefully constructed narrative designed to keep some very unpleasant people in power. You have Joanne Reed, who should probably be in jail, for calling the FBI about tweets she wrote at the very least. And they had a body language expert to demonstrate that Bernie was lying. And I watched the clip.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. That was wild.
But it was even crazy by their standards. And the woman was saying, "Oh, look at him in this moment when he's asked this question. He like kind of ducks down, like he's embarrassed to tell the truth. It's like he's on a national debate stage and being put on the spot to tell whether his very good friend and ally lied about him in the last 2 days.
Wow.
Don't you think most people would be a little nervous, regardless of the veracity of what they're about to say?
Right.
He's old.
And he's old.
The craziest part of that clip is they said something like, he won't confront her directly. Look, he's turning away. And then as she's saying that, he's like literally pointing his finger right at her. And you're like, I see what I can see with my eyes.
But what's very, very healthy, which I don't know if people on the right are realizing, is all the undecideds went to Bernie. So now they were like a 3-way tie, or it's neck and neck. He's 2-1 over Warren in Iowa now, which is great. Because we saw this with Trump, how everyone was ordered. It's not legitimate to vote for him. All the Fortune 500 companies, all these organizations who never endorsed anyone before, every politician, you do not have a right to vote for this joker. And everyone's like, oh, cool story. Okay. And then they go vote for him. Right. And now they're basically doing the same thing. You do not have a right. Bernie, Mr. Misogyny, trying to make him out to be some kind of, like sexual predator is just crazy by their standards. But amazingly, it's backfiring. We saw this with, what's his name? Yank Uyghur. How do you pronounce his first name from the Young Turks?
Oh, Cenk?
Cenk? I have no idea.
I
don't want to try.
Did you see what they did with him? He was running for office.
Yeah.
He's in trouble now?
Oh, no. He was running for office. And the New York Times, which is failing badly, had a clip where he had David Duke on his show.
KKK guy.
Yeah. And you saw the video where he's like arguing with him very vociferously, obviously. And at the end, Duke of all people was trying to make the claim, well, I'm not, an anti-Semite. And Uyghur goes, no, of course not. Which is hilarious because you could, at best, you could see, well, I can see why people call you that, but you're not right, theoretically. The New York Times just wrote, Duke said, I'm not anti-Semite, and Uyghur said, no, of course you're not, as if he was saying it verbatim. And it's like, that's not a mistake. That is agenda, and you're trying to make it seem it's not possible to watch this clip and think Uyghur thinks Duke is not anti-Semite.
So they didn't catch that he was being sarcastic.
They caught it. They ignored it.
Yeah, they ignored it. They presented it as.
Correct.
I'm just processing the slower thinkers.
It's just shameless.
I think slowly.
We need to give Ethan a red pill. That's what we need to do.
I think he's had his red pills. I think every one of you guys will have the red pills. You're all set. I see those headlines. I'm sitting at home. I'm like, ooh, they are more savage than me. This is
that's
brutal.
All Kyle sitting there all calmly.
But not as verified as me. So that's something sad.
Yeah, I don't have a blue check. He's got a blue check.
I'm verified. I'm back when they were giving them out though.
Oh,
giving them out like candy,
like red pills.
So CNN analyst.
Oh yeah, we had a little run-in with CNN.
Joe Lockhart.
Oh,
you like him probably.
Oh yeah, he's the best. I hit him pretty hard recently.
CNN, who is failing badly. Political, and I'm going to just say that every time.
Yeah, of course, which is failing badly.
Political analyst Joe Lockhart. He was also the comms guy for the Clinton White House.
Yeah.
He sent out this tweet recently. He said, I overheard convo between two Republican senators who only watch fake news. And then he puts this in quotes. Is this stuff real? I haven't heard about any of this before. I thought this was all about a server. If half the stuff Schiff is saying is true, we're up Schitt's Creek. Hope the White House has exculpatory evidence. And he leaves this up, and then he just replies later and says, oh, well, I just made this up.
But that's what they're really thinking.
That's what they're really thinking. And then he quote tweets it later and says, everyone calm down, this is just satire. Which is hilarious, because CNN always has been coming after us saying... Oh, we just use satire to cover for our
fool
fake
people.
News.
It's not satire, it's farce. Because this is an absurdity that is so removed from normal behavior. What was interesting about that tweet, which I hit him on, I said this is the rare boomer cretin hybrid, because he was not only double spacing after periods, he was doing it after the colon too. And I'm like, that's when you're so boomer that you don't even understand the rules anymore.
Well, Kyle couldn't help himself and he went on with the Babylon Bee account.
Oh, yes.
And I couldn't help dunking on him.
He replied.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. This is great.
Leave the satire to us. We'll leave the fake news to you.
That went wide, didn't it?
It did. Massive.
Yeah, I love it.
So, CNN on suicide watch.
That's my other line I said recently, that the average Vox reporter is a jihadi without the testosterone.
Is that like our idea for the concentration camp like Portland guys? Like, hey, bro, just come on.
It's basically non-GMO concentration camps.
Non-GMO coffee and step in the shower, bro. Oh, man. All right. Story 3.
Dumb AOC accidentally strangles herself tying her shoes because she is so stupid.
I loved that headline because making fun of the boomers who are fixated on this broad, who the Democrats have forgotten about at this point. It's like, oh, she's like their Sarah Palin, right? They need a punching bag.
Yeah.
Like, can you believe how dumb this 27-year-old is? Yeah, I can. You know how? Because I was 27.
That's true.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
Oh man, this one went over a lot of our readers' heads though, because I think they always think we're
That's why we wanted
only
to talk
making fun of
about
the left. So yeah.
Well, that's the other thing that's great is when you're a good troll, as you guys are, a lot of times it'll work on more than one level, and the audience won't get that you're making fun of them as well.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and this is written by probably our most intelligent writer. I'd say Frank's a pretty smart guy. He's like an engineer. But Frank Fleming, who writes some of our best articles,
Oh, I know.
this.
Is what's his Twitter handle?
It's
Frank J. Fleming.
IMAO.
Yeah. Okay, no.
Yeah.
Isn't he really young?
I don't know.
He's
Oh, he
about my
just-
age, I think.
He's probably his.
He looks really young in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like
He's got boyish charm.
Yeah.
He looks like you would expect a programmer to look.
Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of thin and glasses. Okay.
And beautiful.
So,
He's
I mean,
beautiful though.
I hate explaining a joke, but I mean, the whole idea here is we were making fun of all the stupid AOC memes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Michael got that.
I got it.
Michael got it.
But
I mean,
we want
he's
our
smart.
listeners
He's
to
smarter than the average
I
bear.
got a lot of hate mail about this.
Yeah, no, people really thought that we sat around and thought, oh, this is hilarious.
Like that we actually sat around in this meeting. We're like,
oh, we're
let's
totally
say how
owning
dumb she-
AOC
and
on this one.
I even put the because she is so stupid in parentheses. So it was like
Yeah, right,
we're telling a dumb joke and then explaining the dumb joke. And it says dumb and stupid twice in the headline. You know, you just think people would get it, but nope.
Yeah.
We had done a previous article that was
I tried to even make the Photoshop look bad too.
yeah. We did a previous article that was this joke but good, and it was AOC gets her head stuck in a bucket.
Oh yeah.
But then the punchline was the press explains.
Oh, the press is covering for
the
her.
press explains why this was actually a genius move.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
she's got
the bucket on her.
bucket, and they're like,
Well, no, you
covering for her.
guys did that also with Biden's head falls off an embarrassing gaffe.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Whoops.
Oh, I forgot about that. Was that Biden? Oh yeah, that's when he had like the weird
The blood in the eye.
the
yeah.
blood thing.
Oh, his eye exploded, and
Yeah.
How awkward. His head fell off. Yikes.
yikes! Oops. Hate when that happens.
Yeah. But no, someone else had that headline because now you guys are joking, but they're basically, because the impeachment seems so nonsensical strategically, because you know you're not getting him out, it's just emboldening him. Trump is best in the counterattack. His fans like him when he's being persecuted. And now they're accusing Nancy Pelosi of playing 4D chess. Because they're saying,
Oh, yeah.
okay, this doesn't make sense to any of you, but this is actually strategically brilliant for the Democrats. It's like, okay.
Well, yeah, when she was sitting on the impeachment articles,
Yeah.
remember, and people were saying,
For
"Oh,
no
this is all part of the strategy." And
Yeah.
you're like, wait, what?
wait, what? And then she handed them over with no leverage. Wait, what? That was strategy too?
Yes, queen, slay, queen.
Is the article worth reading on this AOC article? I have it up here.
Yeah, go ahead. Read an excerpt or whatever.
Washington, D.C. While taking a jog yesterday morning, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez attempted to tie her shoe, a simple thing that even a child can do, but she can't because she's so brain dumb and likes socialism. But messed it up so badly with her stupidity that she nearly strangled herself with her shoelaces. We were barely able to save her in time for her being so stupid, said a police officer at the scene. But maybe we shouldn't have saved her because she's a socialist trying to ruin the country and she's dumb.
Beautiful.
How could you read this and go?
It's so good.
Yeah, the minds of the Babylon Bee all sat down.
Yeah.
This was the best slam they could come up with against AOC.
After police got the shoelaces off her neck, AOC said, "Duh, I like socialism," and then turned and walked into a tree. I don't think I read this. Another thing only very dumb people would do is regular smart people know how to walk around trees and not into them. Everyone then laughed at her because she's dumb and no one likes her. What an idiot.
That's beautiful.
Oh, Frank, that's music.
Music to our ears.
Oh, man.
Well,
Some people really didn't get that. I was hoping. It was an interesting way to divide our readers up. Like, okay,
Yeah.
these ones are kind of a little slower. These ones get.
we were trying to see how many. We were trying to see if a bunch of boomers would share it unironically.
Yeah. Did it work?
There were some.
Oh,
Did
yeah, of
anybody
course.
share it thinking it was a true story?
Probably.
What story that you guys have done got the most traction as being possible? Let me preface this.
Okay.
Last week, Tulsi Gabbard, Madam President, sued Hillary Clinton. Okay, And this was like one of my biggest tweets ever. I photoshopped it. I said, this is the weirdest aspect of the legal briefing.
Oh, I saw that.
And it said like, bullet point 5.
Oh, that wasn't
Tulsi
real?
Gabbard. No, it's a naturalized
It got
citizen
me for
of
like
Hawaii.
5 seconds.
Got me.
I
totally.
thought, and she is not, has never, and does not intend to experience thoughts of suicide, right? And I thought this was an obvious joke. And Gutfeld's retweeting it. All these people are retweeting it. And it was not. People thought it was serious. Like, what of your articles has gone widest in terms of people actually believing it?
Got a number of them.
Yeah, we got a bunch. Actually, the one that recently Snopes fact-checked was when we said that Hillary Clinton posted her condolences for Tulsi's suicide one day early. Yeah. That one just recently.
That Jim Baker one's been going around.
Jim Baker's been going around. We quoted Jim Baker, the televangelist, as saying Trump was merely sharing the gospel with that porn star. And so that one has been going around.
And then the Liberty University, there's the new stained glass window of Trump. That one got a ton of people believing that was real. They really thought my Photoshop was real. Oh, wow. That was a lot more work to Photoshop than the documents.
And the best part is what they always say is like, you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
And they'll share it. And I'm like, well, actually,
we literally made that up. Yeah.
Actually, we did. Yeah, your edited thing of her legal document or whatever, it had me for like maybe 5 seconds, and I'm reading it and I'm like, and they're like, that's Michael Malice.
Yeah, I didn't think for a second anyone would believe it because it was so, I don't know. It just seems so ridiculous to me. And I'm like, oh, people are buying this.
The only other time I've seen documents like that were when I was helping my wife get through her divorce with her ex and all the psycho things that they wrote into those pages. I'll believe anything goes in those things.
Well, I was inspired because there was was it Neon Taster or Comfortably Smug when the book by Michael Wolff came out, Fire and Fury, and they had photoshopped that there's this page about the gorilla channel and Trump watches it and he yells at the gorillas and now they have to make a gorilla and people, I think Ben Rhodes was sharing it, and you're reading this and you're like, Trump, no matter how stupid you think Trump is, he knows gorillas on a television can't hear him and understand him. Like, let's give him that level of in touch with reality. And people bought it. I'm like, it's hard for me to reverse engineer your thought process that you think this is real. The stained glass is not ridiculous in the sense, maybe Liberty University, because it's kind of tongue-in-cheek and ironic and funny. Mm-hmm. You could see someone doing that because it would be hilarious.
Yeah. Very expensive.
Yeah.
If you see the photo, I mean, it's massive. It's like in a church.
Okay.
It's massive. Looks like a...
You did a good job on the Photoshop.
Thank you.
Yeah, the better job on Photoshop, the more realistic. Yeah.
And I think around the same time, there was some Southern Baptist seminary that had stained glasses of like Rick Warren and these different preachers.
Wow.
And so I think people were thinking about that. They saw yours and it was like, another one.
All right. Well, should we just jump into our topic of the week here?
Let's do it.
Keep moving.
And now, the Babylon Bee's topic of the week.
What's our topic of the week?
Yeah, what is the topic of the week? Just realizing now that we didn't actually settle on it.
We were relying on Michael Malice to do all the heavy lifting here.
I think we were talking about the concept of the cathedral, but we talked about that a lot last time. But how would you tie that into the whole impeachment stuff and just what's going on right now?
We want to talk impeachment, and we want to talk, the narrative that's being built around that.
I think you're the guys are the only ones in this country who want to talk about impeachment.
That's what I said.
Right?
I think we more want to talk about how dumb it is.
No, but I was looking at social media. Not even the lefties are excited about it.
Yeah.
Like no one, it's like happening totally on like the 7th channel you'd go through when you're flipping through your rotation. It's like, all right, I guess I'll watch this because the other 6 are all reruns.
Yeah.
I saw some of the stats that, the Kavanaugh hearings, tens of millions of people watching, the Comey hearings a little bit less. And it's just like people are getting more and more worn out until I think most recently it was like 8 million people on the last day of impeachment trial that has happened now. We're watching it. It's just this.
Are they done with their opening statements?
I have no idea.
Okay, yeah.
I would have to watch
I've not followed it.
No one's
I'm so confused about what it even means or it does or like.
It's nothing.
What is it? Why? Is it just so that because if he gets impeached, he can still run for president for the second term, right?
Impeachment has no bearing on anything unless you're removed from office. It has. So
is it just like getting called
It's like getting
a
indicted.
Weirdo, and then you're stuck with that name?
Sure. I actually tweeted this out, which is probably a lie, but that's okay. Andrew Jackson was censured by either the House or Congress as a whole. I don't remember. And then 4 years later, or 2, whatever, his party took over the Congress and they uncensored him. So I said, as soon as there's a Republican House, they can unimpeach him. Now, I don't think that's true, but it's good to spread these messages to have people have meltdowns. Mike Huckabee has started this. I had this tweet, and the campaign's watching my stuff. I had this tweet where I said, look, free troll, go to a Trump rally, hold up Trump 2024 signs in front of the cameras and watch the meltdowns ensue. And then Trump tweeted out a thing, about how he's going to run for president like in 2080. Of course, Methuselah.
Oh my God.
And Mike Huckabee tweeted out, watch me later going on Hannity, and I'm going to show why this impeachment invalidates his first term, and I just signed on as Trump's campaign manager for his third term campaign, right? As if it's like the second term's already like a fait accompli. And the freakouts, especially from like unironic conservatives, like, oh, what about this amendment? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, you don't think Mike Huckabee's aware even a little that there's like a 2-term limit? Really? You don't think he knows about this? Yeah. What else I love, the argument is they said, well, if Trump's impeached and removed from office, he's basically not going to recognize that as legitimate. Yeah. Okay, let's pretend that's true. He locks the door of the Oval Office. Now what happens? Are they like, well, I guess he's still the president and can appoint Supreme Court justices and sign laws? I mean, he locked the door.
That's what Bill Maher always says, right? He's always going on about like, oh, he's going to, what he's going to do. He's just not going to,
not going to recognize it.
Even though he gets voted out, he's just going to stay there.
Okay, and they're going to listen to him.
And he acts really scared about it. It's bizarre.
How would this play out?
He makes fun of religious views, but like his view on this, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like he thinks Trump has some kind of godlike powers to like control people's minds. Or I don't know. It's not
like the Holy of Holies that if you're behind the Resolute desk, by definition, therefore you're the president.
You're there.
Like if I'm sitting here, I'm the president in the house. I better not get up. It's like hot potato or something. No, I mean musical chairs.
It'd be like when Kramer pretended to work at that place in Seinfeld, and then like he just kind of started working there, but he never got paid.
Right.
Just keeps clocking in.
It's such a weird argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I personally am very afraid of that happening.
Are you? Terrified? Terrified.
I'm literally shaking right now. Hashtag literally shaking.
Hashtag impeach.
Yeah.
So why is the press focused on impeachment even though nobody cares?
It definitely seems like this narrative they're trying to push.
Yeah.
But people are just like, And it's like people are waking up to that a little bit. Like when you were talking about CNN and how the left was mad at them because of all the Bernie stuff.
Sure.
I mean, how excited were you when you saw hashtag CNN is garbage or whatever
I was
trending from the left?
I was more excited than I saw. This was Comfortably Smug who brought it to my attention after Warren pulled her stunt, because this is why I have no problem condemning Warren. I believe it's certainly possible. Bernie said, I don't think a woman can get elected in 2020. They're acting as if he said, I don't think a woman should get elected.
Right.
He's not. Even if he had said, I don't think a woman could get elected. If I sit here and tell you, I don't think a trans person can get elected, that's not being anti-trans. That's probably or an atheist. Mm-hmm. I think these are facts in America, and something she's had to grapple with. Obviously, they're being disingenuous there. So that night, all of her tweets were getting bombed with snake emojis.
The snakes, yeah, I saw that.
And
people were calling her snakes, so she got ratioed on everything she posted.
And it was weird because people Trump never gets ratioed, right? You're going to have more likes than comments, even if it's Trump, who's probably the most hated figure on Twitter and probably also most loved. She started getting ratioed, which is unprecedented for a presidential candidate. It was amazing. Yeah. And I actually figured out to do snake emoji hard return. So the tweet was the full screen of just snakes, like a huge column of snakes.
You are truly an innovator in our time.
I feel like I am. I'm actually
leading discourse.
I'm spite funding, people chip in money for me to buy stuff I don't want. A pair of pants with a tribal print. They're from Japan. So when she drops out, I'm going to wear them for a week. So you can just go to michaelmalice.com/contribute. Throw cash.
Would a Jake the Snake GIF count?
No. I want them. I need to buy the pants. They're from Japan. They look Native American.
Yeah. So I mean, I was trying to make a sub point to what Ethan was saying, which was that. Yeah. Well, you were asking about impeachment and why are they pushing that so hard? I don't have an answer. Maybe none of us do.
Like, are there stories? Is there things they're trying to distract from? We think that?
Well, the lizard people, they're trying to push away from the lizard people narrative.
I know what that's a euphemism for, and I don't appreciate it. Just because I'm first book, come on, people, that's not right. I made this point earlier. Molly Hemingway made it on Fox as well, which I was very glad to see. I think conservatives think that the media is an arm of the Democratic Party, and I think this impeachment demonstrates my contention that it's actually the reverse. Because let's suppose you're a Democratic politician, right? And you go back to your constituents, and they've heard for 3 years, Russia, collusion, corruption, blah, blah, blah. How would I, as a member of the House, say, look, I think this guy's garbage. I think he's evil. I think he's the worst president, racist, disgusting for America. This is not impeachable. I don't have that space as a Democratic politician. So I think that is making people appreciate where the evil comes from. Without the media, Pelosi wouldn't have pulled this. She didn't do it with George W. Bush. Mm-hmm. And things would be a lot more reasonable. I mean, it's their job to constantly foment frenzy among the masses and drive up the vitriol to a maximum level. It's just also hilarious how they will have no problem blithely comparing Trump to Hitler, the Klan, like the worst actors in history. And when someone says, you guys are fake, they act like they're the biggest martyrs since. How can you say that? I'm just trying to, you hate the free press, you hate freedom of speech. It's like, no, I hate you.
I was trying to find that girl who tweeted about Kobe.
Oh, if you go on my Twitter, I quote tweeted her. I said the difference
but between... she deleted them, so I couldn't find her.
Oh, it's captured. I said the difference between a vulture and this wretch is that a vulture will wait until your body's cold before telling you everything that's wrong with you. She's a horrible human being. Just a horrible human being.
So, I don't remember how much we summarized this, but right after Kobe died, she posted a link to Kobe's old rape case. A story about it, and then later on, after she got ratioed hard, she says, "Well, that was eye-opening," and then goes on to say that she's being persecuted by all these people. It was so funny to me. It's just that is eye-opening, but then she still completely misses why people were upset.
I quoted that. I said that feel when you're of the devil, but seem to think you're as big of a martyr as Joan of Arc. This is of the devil. I'm sorry. When someone is just died, a family man who has many accomplishments to his name, and your first impulse is to denigrate him as much as possible, there's something fundamentally evil and fundamentally wrong with you.
Yeah, it's messed up.
And the fact that you think it's your role to be like, whoa, before you're mourning for this athlete that many people admire, keep in mind once he was accused and acquitted of something. Okay, cool.
What do you think the goal is there to bring that up?
I think the goal is, with the cathedral, it's always to define who is us and who are them, and to make examples out of people. And it could be, no matter what you do in life, if you fall out of line in any way, that is what is going to be used to define you. And if we can do that, and they tried, they failed. If we can do this to Kobe, imagine what we could do to you, And I had this other tweet. I said, look, I am very, 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 very optimistic about the world and this country specifically. And there's something called being black-pilled on the internet where you just think all hope is lost. And those are the people I try to reach out to the most, because if you look at who the corporate press has needlessly alienated in the last couple of years, these are unforced errors. They have gone after, Trump, okay, fine, Trump fans, PewDiePie fans, Joe Rogan fans, but also Tulsi fans, Bernie fans, Kobe fans, Andrew Yang fans. So this is not a left-right issue. This is a entity that is evil and, again, intent on using anything they can to maintain the hold of power. And all of us have friends who have different political persuasions, and we can sit down and talk with them with no issues whatsoever. Right. This is something completely removed. All of those friends would be mortified if someone they knew who was a veteran was being accused of being a white supremacist for playing the circle game. Doesn't matter where you are politically. If you're at all a decent person, which most people are, I think, find that to be horrifying.
So this Felicia girl also added, It's hard to see what's accomplished by sending me messages such as these. If your response to a news article is to resort to harassment and intimidation of journalists, you might want to consider that your behavior says more about you than the person you're targeting.
Yeah.
And it's like you almost had it. You were right there. Like you almost
never had it.
You almost got the point, you know.
It kind of reminds me of that one. This is going back a bit, but remember the guy who, he said, buy me a beer or whatever, and then he made a whole bunch of money, so he was giving the money to children's hospitals. So then they dug up and found
the old
racist tweets when he was in high school, and the journalist who had dug them up got massively. He got doxxed, and they found all these bad tweets of his, and his lesson he got out of it was, this must be what black people and women go through, or something like that. It was
the lesson. You were so close to getting the lesson.
His lesson that he got was that, now I'm oppressed just like the other victims.
Yeah. It was incredible.
It was shockingly amazing that could be his takeaway.
I mean, it's kind of like Agatha Christie, but the murderer is always the same. You know who the murderer is going to be. Rebecca Long Bailey, who is possibly and probably going to be Jeremy Corbyn's successor as head of the Labour Party in Britain, who I'm desperately hoping gets that position because she's a real life Titania McGrath. She's 40 years old.
We just had him on last week.
Did really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, interest great. So she had this whole tweet about poor Meghan Markle because she's the victim of such hatred and racism. There's literally no one on earth more privileged than an actual princess. That's the synonym for privileged. Oh, princess. And this is who is your Rosa Parks. And I really hope she takes over the Labour Party. It's going to be a glorious thing.
Maybe that needs to be the next Disney princess.
The woke princess?
As the oppressed.
Oh, yeah.
The oppressed woke
I guess
Disney
Cinderella
princess.
was kind of oppressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was before she was a princess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, she was always a princess, right?
No, because she got
married by the prince.
Oh, wasn't she was secretly a princess through genetics?
No, that was
dance yeah, that would be Tangled or whatever. Rapunzel.
Tangled, yeah, Rapunzel.
Okay.
Cinderella was the shoe.
Yeah.
Shoe.
You're I'm clear on that.
Yeah.
No, she's just a maid.
No, but I didn't remember how she became a maid. Is that ever explained?
Her father, her mom died. Her father married some horrible woman with two stepsisters. Okay. So they're we'll clean
I think the prince just liked
all the
her.
crap.
Yeah.
Because he's heteronormative.
Yeah.
And problematic.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into some hate mail, shall we? What do you think?
I really miss Adam Ford.
Never gets old.
Yeah, do we need to fill Michael in on why that's?
You know what? He laughed. But
it's funny.
It's so weird sounding.
Yeah.
Adam Ford founded the Babylon Bee.
Okay.
And so when he sold it, people decided that the bee declined in quality.
Jumped the shark.
And they'll email us.
Whenever they don't like something we make, they say, I really miss Adam Ford.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
we took our VO guy saying that and put auto-tune to it.
Perfect.
And so he's
it's a
singing
long
it.
story.
I really miss him.
I guess it's not a long story. That's the whole story.
That's it.
All right. So here's some hate mail.
We're doing a rapid fire hate mail. We got 4.
We got a bunch of hate mail.
We got a lot of
How do people get your hate mail to you?
We get a lot of the contact form on our website.
Got it. Okay.
Sometimes we'll pull Facebook comments or Twitter. Dan, are you ready with
we
some
have that flower bed. For F words, we have a special button
We have a bleep button.
or any swear.
Are you ready? Okay. So this is from someone that named Trump supporter.
I know that guy.
What the
Flower bed.
is the Babylon Bee? Never heard of you. Go back under your rock and
Flower bed.
yourself.
Simple. Correct.
Someone, false song, someone who follows me had this great tweet. He goes, "It's a very simple person who thinks his ignorance of a subject is a commentary on the subject that he's ignorant of."
That's great.
I never heard of you, therefore you guys are dumb. No, I don't understand this math, therefore the math is stupid.
No offense, but we haven't heard of you either, sir.
You've never heard of a Trump supporter?
Yeah, that's true.
Not here. Not in California.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. You guys are full of truth. All right, so I'll do the next one. This is from a guy named Don. I won't give his last
Maybe it's
name.
Donald.
Just to protect
Don
Trump.
Jr.
It's not Trump.
Is it Don Jr.?
It's okay. Reason, complain, message. If you're going to post TV videos, news clips, we don't. Actually run them unedited and let us decide for ourselves if you're full of...
Flower bed.
How in the...
Flower bed.
Can I believe you when there's no actual proof. Paper lays there for anyone to write on, and I don't like propaganda, which is exactly what you're producing.
Wait, I'm sorry. Read that line about paper again, because that is so well. That is like a koan. It's
kind of
It is
poetic.
so beautiful
Yeah.
in its insanity. Wait, read it again.
I started tearing up when I was reading that last line. Paper lays there for anyone to write on, and I don't like propaganda.
Paper lays there for. I'm going to tweet that out. That is a beautiful sentence.
I don't even.
Paper lays there for anyone to lie
It's so
on.
deep that I don't get it.
To write on or lie on?
Write on.
To write on.
Oh, okay, paper.
He's saying anybody can tell any story or anything. Is that what he's trying to say? Like, anybody can be a journalist.
Like, we're just sitting there and there's a stack of paper and we're like, maybe we should write some fake news.
There's this sign that says community
Community paper
Please
stack.
take one. Please write a story.
Oh my, that's beautiful.
No propaganda, please.
All right, here's the next one.
Yeah.
From Rita. Rita says, I do not want you on my news feed. I do not like satire and want you removed. It's like, it's too bad.
She called tech support.
It's too bad social networks don't have some way for you to
If only there was some function.
say, like, they could call it like unfollowing
Yeah, something
or
like that.
unsubscribing.
I want you removed.
I want you removed. It's
She
dangerous.
wants us to remove ourselves so she doesn't have to do any work.
Well, I love that on Twitter. Someone comes up to me and they go, "Shut up." It's like, you just went up to a stranger.
Like, you're just chatting with your friends and someone walks up, shut up.
Like, oh, what?
All right, last one. This guy calls himself Boomer.
Uh-oh.
Kind of. It's part of his email address, but we won't give his whole thing. We're not going to dox him. Reason. Report. Message.
Flower bed.
Y'all.
Flower bed.
Saying fake.
Flower bed.
That old timer shooting the man. What? If he would have not been there to support everyone. Oh, because this is about
Jack Wilson, the church,
Wilson.
the guy who defended the church against that shooting.
Okay. But we'll say that now that you know the context. That old timer shooting the man. If he would have not been there to support everyone, a whole church would be dead. You're probably just some sand
Flower bed.
I
semolina
know what that word was.
that's ungrateful for your citizenship, even though you could be back in the Middle East, either married to a man 30 years older than you or dead from the constant violence and decapitated.
That really escalated quickly.
I did not expect to have that word alluded to today.
You didn't wake up this morning expecting to
Do we
hear
need
that
to
one, huh?
add more bleep to that?
Maybe. Just bleep the whole thing. That was
Yeah.
brutal, man.
That was brutal.
Oof.
I like how we had this idea that we were against. Like,
Yeah,
we
I
were,
was so confused by it because we're very pro that guy.
we like.
We
I
like
think
him.
most people,
Yeah,
in
it's great.
general,
In general.
I don't think this is like a 50-50 split. Do you think it's good that he's
51.
No one
won?
gets any mad that they're like, man, we really want guns to be taken away, so it sucks when this happens. And like,
Yeah.
that's too bad.
I really thought we were on the pro-terrorist side, which was interesting.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Good stuff. Thank you. Please keep sending it.
What do you want to promote? If you want to promote anything, you need the new riot or
I guess if people want to read the books, the new right is about the non-conservative or unorthodox right wing and the history of it. So that came out in May, which it did very well. And my other book, if you want to know everything you need to know about North Korea in one sitting, it's Dear Reader, the unauthorized autobiography of Kim Jong-il. And I figured out a way, which you guys would appreciate with what work you do, is to take the story of North Korea and find humor in it, even though it's very, very, very dark humor. But that makes it the palatable.
And then you can be followed. Michael Malice. We'll put that all in the show notes.
And I apologize in advance to all the God-fearing listeners.
Yes. Michael Malice. You got to... There's some flower beds.
we didn't
going
get
on.
any complaints when.
Is that true?
Yeah, we never got any complaints.
didn't get any
We
complaints.
only
Can I-
got compliments.
Can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
I was speaking at a think tank many years ago, and someone said "he" double hockey sticks or some or darn and there are a lot of kids in the audience were Christians, and they complained to the guys running it. They go, "Let's watch the language," and they pull me aside, and they go, "This is the situation," and I go, "One of my books that I co-authored has the F word in the title. Like, can I not mention it?" And he's like, "No, I guess that's different." I go, "Look, I won't use foul language, but I am going to have my Anne Frank jokes. Are you okay with that?" And he goes, "Just do what you want." And I got no complaints. So I think there's a difference, and people understand this, when people are vulgar for the sake of being vulgar, and they think they're being transgressive or trashy. And then it's, someone's from Brooklyn, and sometimes it slips out.
Right. Yeah, and I think, I know so many Christians that listen to Rogan, and we're used to being in a world of swearing, and a lot of us, even that, like, I think that for us, we're creating this, I swear among friends, but like I understand the enjoyment of a break from it. Sure. For Christians. It's so nice to have like a podcast, it's just, you don't have to worry about it. It's just nice to have a little break from it.
It's a place for you. You don't have to be the tourist all the time.
This is our place. Safe space.
Yeah. I think people joke, but that term has merit.
Yeah, totally.
Like with your friends, right? Your house is a safe space. Come here. You're safe. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Not my house. My house is very unsafe.
Well, and I think there's a difference too between like people who cuss as though they just discovered the F word.
Yeah.
Right.
They think they're being grown up.
Right.
If you think you're making yourself more grown up by swearing, then that's...
yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to go into our subscriber portion with Michael still here. We're going to get a few more stories out. Anything else, Kyle?
We'll get Michael to say some candid things.
Yes.
Candid.
Sorry, freeloaders. Your ride ends here.
You're right.
That's right.
We are kicking you off the train.
We're going to talk about Taco Tuesday. We're going to talk about... I'm trying to find some good tantalizing... March for Life. Some Bernie Sanders stuff. All right. Joe Rogan. Okay, we're going to get into some more of that stuff in the subscriber portion. Anything else we're going to say? Or will Dave say the rest?
I think Dave says it all.
All right, cool.
Bye.
The rest of this podcast is in our super exclusive premium subscriber lounge. If you're not a Babylon Bee subscriber, go to babylonbee.com/plans for full-length ad-free podcasts, access to our headline forum, 20% off the items in the Babylon Bee store, a gift, and more. Please drop us a review on iTunes and share the podcast with a friend. Feedback and love mail go to podcast@babylonbee.com. Follow Ethan at AxeCop and Kyle at _Kyle_man on Twitter. Kyle and Ethan would like to thank Seth Dillon for paying the bills, Adam Ford for creating their job, the other writers for tirelessly pitching headlines, the subscribers, and you, the listener. Until next time, this is Dave D'Andrea, the voice of the Babylon Bee, reminding you to send any evidence you have on Epstein to the media so that it can be immediately disposed of.
I like socialism.